wonder what a conductor does? A conductor ensures that the composer's intentions are brought to life by guiding the players as they transform the ordinary notes on the page into extraordinary music.
The intimate connections between kinematics and musical gesture may have further implications than just our sense of motion and tempo change. If the limits on our temporal, perceptual, and sensory motor coordination serve to circumscribe the limits of musical meter and rhythm, they can also stake out the limits of musical gesture. Just as every physical gesture derives its character in part from the ways in which it moves with respect to physical forces, so every musical gesture derives its character in part from the ways in which it moves with respect to musical forces.
If we agree that the premise of it is that the essence of conducting is a listening art, then we have to have our mind's eye exactly on how we want the sound to be before attaching a gesture or movement to it, perhaps. So, you can't stand up there, or for me at least, with confidence and react to a sound after giving a gesture if you don't know the type of sound you wanted in the first place. So you gave this beautiful gesture, but was that the sound you wanted? And then can you look at the trumpets and go, no? Because did you have the gesture sound in your mind before you gave it? And then is it the way you wanted?
The overall aim of my doctoral research is to answer the query, in what ways can an expanded gestural awareness and personal identity, deeper gestural vocabulary, and refinement of conducting technique impact the teaching practice of instrumental music educators?
When you see conductors waving their arms around, the left hand controls the artistry and balance of the music, while the right hand controls the speed or tempo of the music. Music is artistic, but we can take a very scientific approach. We're performing a study here in the Human Performance Laboratory using motion capture technology. These musicians have a series of markers placed on specific points of their body that are set in motion while they play. The cameras track each marker and produce a series of mathematical data. So what you're seeing here is music and motion. Each has a set of markers that corresponds to a point on the screen. Both performer and conductor must work together to produce beautiful music and enhance their performance. Beautiful, that was great.
Each teacher participant's role in this research will be to explore ways in which gestural awareness and well-defined conducting technique can improve teacher effectiveness, rehearsal efficiency, and overall ensemble sound results.
She's going to do her gestures in a gestural map. Do I have a volunteer to say your word when she does her gesture? So whatever you wrote down for all 8. So if she's given this, you're going to say whatever word you wrote down at the time that she does it. Okay, so here's the first. Do we have a volunteer? Okay, go for it. Okay.
Pa.
Very nice. Give them a hand.
Changes in the topography and architecture of the music invoke higher-order thinking that is driven by gestural representation. Motion capture technology can be used as a pedagogical gestural awareness tool for aiding instrumental music educators in identifying and eliminating extraneous gestures while encouraging the practice of increased expressive gestures.
Conducting has a strong language component due to the nonverbal communication. For instance, conductors use their hands. Conductors use their face. Conductors use their breath. Conductors use their arms.
The balance of science and music, perfectly in tune.
So if we're doing a rubato, are we going to have to, in a musical transition, are we going to get larger or smaller? Maybe. I'm not suggesting that's correct all the time, but it might help. And maybe in an cello rondo, if we are way out here and if the music is slow and we have to get ourselves to a faster place, we might want to employ a smaller gesture because they get it. And you're using motion and force and acceleration and deceleration to your advantage.
Kinesthesis, or the awareness of oneself in motion, is important to the development and refinement of movement skills that occur as a result of movement experiences. Both novice and experienced instrumental music educators don't lack imagination or creativity. They simply need encouragement to incorporate and experiment with a wide variety of effort that coincides with appropriate musical sounds, moments, phrases, and ideas. Often teacher-student musical synchronization breaks down when left-hand gestures go against specific musical indicators, causing player confusion. Left-hand gestures that encourage musical indicators should result in an increase in conductor-musician synchronization and produce more accurate sound results. Looking at gesture from the vantage point of forces that act and react upon gesture could serve to transform the way we ultimately teach conducting gesture and movement to future generations of conductors and music educators. Graceful physical gestures can indeed reflect the balancing of physical forces needed to recreate and procure the music the composer intended.